Alright folks, I'm back, Bill Hoy. What in the world's going on? My YouTube channel. And here we are. I know these videos aren't the most exciting videos. I'm going to try to add some video art and try to get more creative. I just want to get the bulk of my content out first and then try to get a little creative. Please comment. I don't care if you want to call me an asshole, go ahead. Freedom of speech, folks. Freedom of speech. So I left off here where I wanted to talk about, look up in the sky on any day. Yesterday, I don't know what it's like today. I'm going to take a look right now. Oh yeah, they're up there. Yipper. Planes are up there, folks. Look up in the sky on almost any day and you'll see planes emitting nanoparticles that fill the entire sky. I just saw it right now. The entire sky is white. The entire sky is white, folks. Those are nanoparticles. Those are nanoparticles. And you know what? Even if you want to believe the nonsense that it's just condensation, the bottom line is that these planes are polluting the entire sky. Even if you want to believe it's just condensation, when I see planes go back and forth and their emissions fill the sky, how can anybody, I sure as hell don't think it's good. How can anyone else think that that's good for our environment? Emissions from planes filling the entire sky. I don't care what you want to call it. That's pollution, folks. Look up. Look up. Everybody's too busy worrying about their own paradigms, and I understand people are running a hamster wheel. I get it. I know that. I've been there. So I just want to say one thing. All aircraft, capital A, capital L, capital L, all aircraft destroys our ozone layer and our atmosphere, trail or no trail. All aircraft's destroying our atmosphere. Folks, no atmosphere, no life on Earth, and that's getting very close. That's getting very close. Former scientist for, I don't know what he was for, EPA. He was a atmospheric scientist, I think. I forget what agency, but he did work on the ozone layer for 40 years. You could look it up on geoengineeringwatch.org. His research, he's saying, based on his calculations, that we could be looking at total ozone layer collapse by 2026. Not that anybody cares. Not that anybody cares. I'm sure there's some sporting event on that's more important. Hey, I'll tell you right now, you think you own your own house? Think again. Think you own your own house? Think again. Even if you don't have a mortgage, you still have to pay a property tax, which are extortion fees. All taxes are extortion fees. You still have to pay property taxes, and if you don't pay those taxes, you're gonna be removed from your home. You're gonna be forced. Either you're gonna have to remove yourself from your home, or you could be killed or thrown in a cage. You don't own your home. Whoever you pay your property taxes to owns your home. Once again, look up the Communist Manifesto. What's one of the centerpieces of the Communist? What's one of the other pieces of the Communist Manifesto? Abolition of private property. They say it's your private property, but it's not. If you have to pay somebody, whoever you're paying owns your property. Your property's not private. Property's not private. It's all euphemized. And then, of course, one of the most private forms of ownership is our bodies. You think you own your body? You don't. Prohibition laws are a claim of ownership on people's bodies. Drug laws. No one has the right to engage in violence and kidnapping against anyone for any reason, and especially engaging in violence and kidnapping against somebody, arrest, arresting somebody for possessing something that somebody says that we are not allowed to, having a substance on us that we're not allowed to put into our body or have on a person. And let me tell you something. There is no property more private than our bodies and our person. And that's what the Fourth Amendment's about, folks. That's what the Fourth Amendment's about. The Fourth Amendment's based on a natural right, a right of our property. Our property is ours. My body's mine. Once again, Communist Manifesto, abolition of private property. Our bodies are private property, and you want to be a coward and say, I don't do those drugs, I don't care, guess what? You're still surrendering ownership of your own body. Anyone who accepts these drug laws is surrendering their own bodily ownership. Welcome to communism, buddy. People make me sick. And by the way, I don't do any of these drugs. I used to do some of them, but I don't do any of these drugs. I don't. And, this goes back to, our children need us parents to look into this stuff and stop calling all this stuff conspiracy theory and start looking into the reality that all of this is conspiracy fact. There's conspiracy facts in here. We parents got to start looking into this stuff. And once again, I know we're running the hamster wheel. I know that people are tied into, survival mode. That's what this religion of the monetary system is set up. It's set up its fundamental basis is scarcity. It's scarcity, and to keep it's based on scarcity to keep us running the hamster wheel, to try to live up to some kind of image, or just basically trying to serve basic survival needs. So here's a good one. I get this a lot. Many people get all sour and get all mad, and many people think that I'm going to change things. And I'm going to change the world. I've had people get all mad and, oh, you think you're going to change the world. Well, guess what? No, I'm not, dummy. No, I'm not. That's what I tell them. I don't think I'm going to change the world. We're done. You want to know what I think? Under the current paradigm, right now, if this paradigm doesn't change, we're definitely done. We're definitely done. Our life support systems on this planet are collapsing, and they're going to collapse to a point where we could see deaths in the billions. And this is, once again, this is not, we're not looking at the possibility, we're not looking at 2100 here. And even if it was 2100, I mean, we should be doing the right thing and living our lives according to natural law, and observing that our rights are inherent in nature, and that nature is a part of us and we're a part of it, and without nature we die. Care about 2100? Well, don't worry, 2100 jerk-offs. But that's not what this is. I mean, we're talking about 2030 here, folks. We could start seeing serious breakdowns in our life support systems that are, once again, can't be hidden by climate engineering programs and can't be hidden by propaganda mind control. It's going to be too obvious. We're talking about some frontline data from independent researchers, like I told you about the former ozone scientists for the government, ozone layer scientist government, coming in 2026. Guy McPherson coming in 2026 with his mathematical calculations of the polar ice melt and methane release. We're done, folks. We're done. Believe me. I know I'm not going to change things, and believe me, it really frustrates me. It really frustrates me. I have children. My children have no future. My youngest child is 14 years old. My child has no future. None. And folks, if I would have known what I known 14 years ago, I would have never had her. I would have never had her. I would have never conceived a child and brought a child into this world. Shame. Once again, folks, even if our life support systems are able to hold up for however longer, we're heading into a concentration camp. And read the speech by John Kennedy about secrecy. The speech that 10 days after he was killed in Dallas. John Kennedy's speech, and John Kennedy talks about subversion. I think he said subversion instead of invasion. John Kennedy was trying to say, from what I see, that this is not going to be an overt takeover of our country by these outside powers. I think he's talking about these royals and the occultists and the banking cartels and these secret societies, the Rosicrucians, Skull and Bones, the Knights Templar, Order of the Black Sun. He was saying that this is not going to be overt concentration camps like was in Nazi Germany. It's going to be subverted. It's going to be, you're not going to even see your own slavery. It's going to be to the point where they're going to have us begging for our own slavery. All you have to do is do some research, and you look and you'll see there's a large movement right now. People are screaming for socialism, democratic socialism. People want socialism in this country. It's open, and it's being openly promoted by some of these political candidates. I mean, people are begging for socialism. I mean, talk about crazy. These people are begging for socialism. I guess people forget about, Nazi Germany, the Soviet Union, socialist communist China. We're done. We have no future, folks. My children have no future. But you know what? Let me tell you something. At least, when it's all over, however that happens. I mean, if I live to see the final collapsing of our life support systems, and the final complete collapsing of our freedoms. Because I can tell you right now, folks, I mean, there's going to come to a point where I'm just going to say no more, and I'm going to draw a line in the sand, and I'm going to exert my free will, and I'm going to completely align myself with natural law, and I'm just going to go all the way, and it's probably going to end in my death. Because I can tell you right now, folks, I mean, I don't know what I'm going to do when the enforcers come for me. I can't say what I'm going to do, but I can tell you this, folks. I don't picture myself just walking into allowing myself to be bound up and thrown into a cell or a quarantine facility or whatever, a hospital, whatever. I don't see myself doing that voluntarily. I don't think I'm going to do that voluntarily. I think I'm going to use my free will. We all have free will, and I think I'm going to exert it. I don't know. I don't know what. I really can't say how this is all going to manifest. But at least when it's all over, I can look my children in the eye and say I tried. I can say that I'm a real man. I grew up and I'm a real man. I'm a real man. I'm facing my fears. I'm not giving in to my fears. And I can say that I was a real father. I didn't just lay back, watch television, and focus on living a good life. I tried to do something about it. I tried to get the word out to people. Nobody cares. It ain't going to change nothing. And I tell my kids this. My kids know. And that's really, we're going to talk a little bit about what's really about prepping. Alright? You know, because I'll tell you what prep is real about. We'll get to that in the next video, part 3.